Sold my car to my sister. It's ruining my marriage. I decided to sell my car in September, got a quote from Carvana and was ready to confirm. When I mentioned it to my sister, she asked me to wait a day so she and her finance could discuss buying it. Okay, sure. Gave them all the info I had for Carvana, including the 10-day letter from my bank and the $12,300 offer letter from the car company. Since they had just closed on a house that month and were putting down payments out for their upcoming wedding, my sister wanted to take over my existing payments and pay the remainder when she could get another line of credit. Sweet. That works for us. I am in Illinois. She's in Ohio. I drove the car down in September and we were both happy. Now it's March. Sister got a personal loan and paid off the $6,100 owed on the car, and wanted to switch to an auto loan with her bank, needed the title as collateral. Okay, she got her own insurance this week, so I removed her from my policy. My husband has been nagging for weeks. When's your sister sending us the check? So today, after her bridal shower, I called and asked what's the timeline on the loan. She said it's done. Changed it yesterday. Awesome. How long for a check for the balance? She asked what I'm talking about. Said she thought we agreed she would just pay what was owed on my loan, wouldn't have agreed to spend $12,000. But she did, via text. I have all the messages about it, including what info was sent to her, the exact dollar amount, everything. My husband is losing his mind over it, swears she's trying to scam us, etc. She would never. We're super close. She's my best friend. I'm in the most uncomfortable situation. I don't know what to do. We need the dollar. That was the whole point in selling the car. I called my mom to go talk to my sister, to come through on her end of the agreement, but I'm so lost. I don't know what to say to get this through to her, or how to maintain the relationship between her and my husband. Help! Exclamation mark. You make it clear she agreed and you need the money. Send her the proof. Make it clear you need that money and you're personally hurt. It seems like she's backing out on the agreement. Or how to maintain the relationship between her and my husband. They isn't your job. Their relationship is what it is. Your relationship with your husband is the one to focus on. Sounds like sis is scamming you. Your sis just scammed you, and since she now has clear title, there is very little you can do about it. Maybe you can try to get what she owes by printing out screenshots of your texts and filing for the balance in small claims court. In the future, get a written contract or promissory note. Print out those text receipts, girl. You are getting scammed and your man's rightfully pissed. Don't do business with family. Send her screenshots of the text messages and just say, I'm sorry if you misunderstood, but you know I'd received an offer of $12,300, so I wouldn't turn around and sell it to you for half of that. We sold the car because we need the money, so please pay as soon as possible. I don't see how she can deny it when you have the proof in the texts. I hope she doesn't keep fighting this. I can see where there would be a potential misunderstanding. Texting is probably an imperfect means of communicating the details of a financial transaction. Did she really expect to get a car for $6,000 when you had an offer for $12,000? If she is unwilling or unable to pay the remainder, the solution is to sell the car to Carvana. She gets her money to pay off the loan and you get the remainder. Who just expects their sister to essentially give them $6,000? Get pissed at her and demand your money. She knows what she's doing. Don't know how you worded it in your texts, but as I was reading your story I thought by pay the remainder, you meant what was remaining of the loan. As in your sister would make the monthly payments and then when she could she would pay off the remainder of the loan and be done. When I got to the part where you asked for more I was confused and had to go back and reread. So yeah, can see how it's possible, and doesn't it all mean she's trying to scam you? You said this type of thing isn't like her, so you might want to all just sit down and see what you can all do to feel square. Hoping the best. Also, if this is just a misunderstanding on her part, she should be feeling just as awful about, probably worse, than you. To solve it, she could sell the car and give you the remainder of the money. Sis is scamming you. Your husband is right. Maybe I'm not understanding correctly because this doesn't make sense to me. If you were offered $12,300, how much of that $12,300 was going to pay off the remainder of the loan? Or is $12,300 what you would have left after the loan was paid off? Okay, that makes more sense then. I completely misunderstood, so maybe she did too. You may have to actually explain it to her again and tell her how it's affecting your finances and relationship. Your husband is rightfully pissed. You gave her the title without receiving the final payment. Who cares if someone is family? You still do business in the correct order. It is even more important with family to do things with a clear agreement. Send her copies of the texts where she agrees to pay you the $6,000 plus the remainder of the loan. It sounds like she's scamming you. Take her to small claims court. Print out your texts and the quotes of what you were planning to sell it for. Why would she expect you to only get half of what your car was worth? Small claims court. She's probably just horrible at math and understanding these slightly more complex transactions. What you need to explain to her is situation A and situation B. Sit A. You sell car. You get $12,000, and use $6,000 to pay off loan. You earn $6,000. Sit B. You give her the car. She pays $6,000 of the loan. You earn $0. Why on earth would you choose situation B? Either she doesn't understand this, or thinks you've done her a favor. Solution is to sell the car for $12,000 now, and each of you gets $6,000 back. Send her screenshots of your discussion. Tell her you need the money now and you can give her another 30 days to transfer the money. Tell your husband to back off. Stop riding you and let you deal with it. Explain that she needs to give you the rest of the money, or she needs to immediately sell the car to give you what she had agreed to and what you would have gotten from Carvana. If it's truly a misunderstanding, she won't have a problem with selling the car. As someone really close to their sister, I feel you for how awkward this conflict can be. Is your sister not very financially savvy? Although you seem to explain it quite clearly, maybe she misunderstood the terms of your agreement. Having studied business law, text messages can be considered contractual and legally enforceable depending on the language used and the clarity of the terms. You say she would never scam you, except she totally is, and your husband has every right to be angry, and honestly you should be livid as well considering your best friend is trying to take advantage of you. Her new home, wedding, personal loans, etc. are not y'all's problem. She needs to pay up on your original agreement because she is totally trying to take advantage of you because she thinks she can because family. Sounds like you aren't clear. You need to be crystal clear on this shit. Especially with family. You done fuck her up. Everyone is trustworthy until they aren't. I wouldn't write your sister off just yet, but I would definitely start getting a bit more serious about making sure that she follows through. My gut tells me your husband might be right. Keep all your text messages and all the receipts. These are essentially your contract with your sister. If she doesn't understand, consider getting a lawyer involved. Or going a legal route. That's what I would do. It honestly sounds like she is scamming you. Why would you give your car to an adult who has a means of financing things for basically free? Especially when you had an offer for $6,000 more. Also, you were selling because you need extra cash. Sorry you are dealing with this. Seems pretty fishy, but don't jump to conclusions. Worst case scenario, she should sell the car and pay you the remainder of what you're owed, and keep what's left over from that to pay her dues. Call your sister up and tell her that's not the case. Send her screenshots of the agreement. Tell her if she cannot pay the rest, she can sign the title back over to you, you can sell the car, and pay her back the $6,500 for it. Calm your husband down. At worst, if your sister was a monster, you could take her to small claims court for at least the other $5,000 owed. Also, unfortunately, this is a lesson. Never mix family and finances. You say your sister would never scam you, but she quite clearly scammed you. She saw a way to benefit herself and you allowed yourself to be taken advantage of by family. Hopefully you can try and use the texts to get what money is owed to you, but you already gave her all the power when you signed everything over without a written agreement. Or welcome to the real cishood. Got scammed. Hold your ground. She is scamming you. And if she is not, she would return to car to you. If she refuses to do so, she is absolutely scamming you. Tell her that you need the money, show her the texts, and just be a hard ass. She willfully misheard you. My brother owed me around $5,000 for work I did for him and convinced himself that he didn't have to. only got resolved when I got our dad involved, who acted as arbiter. Even then it took ages of unreasonable behavior. When he eventually relented, he pretended that the figure I had been asking for was the one he had in mind all along, and that we were wrong, so here is that amount. What I'm saying, get a neutral but trusted judge to act for you both and settle the dispute. Not court just yet. Send her screenshots of the texts where she agreed to the amount, and tell her that with written evidence it will be open and shut in small claims, and so if she wants to avoid having a judgment on her record, which could screw up her career if it shows up on background checks or if her wages are garnished, she's going to get you the check within 1 week. It will also cost her court costs to go to court, on top of what she owes you, and since you have it in writing you have everything you need to expose her to your family as well. She might be the one with the money, but you have all the leverage here. Use it. Your husband is right. Your sister is trying to us your relationship with each other to try and pull a fast one. I would screenshot your earlier conversations about her buying the car and send it to her. Then call her and ask, did you get my message? When Say says yes, tell her, good, now where's my money? We needed the money, that's why we were selling it. We would have never sold it to you if all you were going to pay was the balance owed on the car. The first thing you need to do is let your husband know that he is right. That won't fix the money issue but will save your marriage. Second, be clear, direct and to the point to your sister. Tell her over text if you have to that she did agree to pay what the car is worth, that you showed her the paperwork and show her the text. And never ever deal with family. That goes for everyone here. My late father used to say, don't share money, business or women with family and friends. I used to employ my sister. Now, we good now, but the bussines went under and I had to fire her. Worst feeling I've ever had. So even if there is no bad intent, just don't do business with family. Ever. She would never. She just did. Girl. Please print it if you have proof you agreed in a different value. She ripped you off easy and that's why your husband is upset. She did it right under your nose. You are admitting to us you know she isn't being honest and you're still letting her keep the money. Even though you're struggling. No wonder your husband is upset. Like, please explain to me how does over $6,000 gets miscommunicated in written form. Also you can't do anything to mend the relationship between your sister and your husband. That's entirely between them. I'm with your husband on this. You got scammed. She's playing sweet and innocent hoping you'll drop the whole thing. I'd tell her you need the money. You feel she owes it and if she disagrees let a court decide. If she's really your best friend then she will be happy to have it resolved by an impartial observer and will get over being sued. In my opinion your first loyalty here is to your husband. That's part of marriage as I see it and really it was as much his issue as yours. This seems in part miscommunication. Taking the remainder of the payments is not the same as give you $12,000 and finish paying off the car. Double check your texts. If it's not clear she agreed to give you the $12,000 on top of taking off the rest of the payments, then it might be time to have a difficult conversation. I don't personally know why I'd pay $12,000 for a car, plus agree to another $6,000 in payments to be frank. If it is clear she agreed, then you have the difficult task of accepting the exact dollar value of what your sister thought you were worth. That's exactly why you don't do business with family. Never do money business with family. I learned from that. Your sister has scammed you. Your husband is right to be angry with her. It really is possible you guys misunderstood. Because just from reading the post, I also thought you had accepted her just taking over your car payments. Not paying you anything extra. Your husband is right and your sister is wrong. It is as simple as that. She will pay the full amount or you cut off contact with her and sue her for the difference. Do not apologize for any confusion, as someone suggested. That implies you were not clear in your communication with her. Second, I'm afraid she is screwing you over, hard as it may be to accept. It isn't plausible that she thought she was getting such a bargain. You have discussions in writing which should hold up in court. Alternatively, you can come to a compromise. She returns the car, you sell it. Reimburse her payments and you keep what's owed. My husband is losing his mind over it. Swears she's trying to scam us, etc. She would never. This is exactly what's happening though. Are you just in denial? To put it honestly, Your husband is right. Your sister is scamming you. Perhaps you just overlooked it in the past. Simple solution. Try to reason with your husband regarding what is the least he would settle for. He know you love you sister. Avoid an argument as your sister has wronged you all. Forward your sister the texts proving you both agreed on the price. She sounds reasonable. Hope you able to solve this issue soon. You mentioned above that she paid off the existing loan, which you put at about $6,000 per your above post. Unless I'm massively misunderstanding, she did pay you $12,100. The initial $6,100 cash plus the $6,000 loan payoff. You are asking for an additional $6,000, meaning she would have paid $18,100 for the car. If you had sold the car to CarMax, it likewise would have sent half the money to pay off the remainder on the loan and you would only have gotten $6,000 cash. I'm sorry, but your husband is right. Your sister is trying to scam you. You absolutely should have had a clear payment contract in writing, but it's too late for that now. The fact that she just took over the loan clearly leaves you out the value of the car minus what you still owed on it. Your sister owes you that money. Case closed. Figure out a payment plan with her. Maybe she could keep making the same car payment to you until she pays off the balance.